Welcome back, Truth Seeker. June 8th, 2019. Apologies that I didn't get the live stream up last night for the horse racing. We're going to do it directly after today's live stream. When this concludes, I'll fire up another live stream and we'll go through the Belmont Stakes. I have had the notes up since yesterday. Some craziness happened in my life yesterday, but apologies. That was supposed to happen yesterday. It might end up being a good thing because we'll get the most current up-to-date stats for the trainers and jockeys when we do the live stream, because there were a number of races yesterday and there's still a number of races today, even before the main event, which most people are looking at. But we will do that directly after this. So as per usual, let's start off with some review, and then we'll get into today's games. We just got baseball. There's no playoffs. In the Cardinals and Cubs game, the Cubs pitcher had a nice riddle to get the win yesterday, plus he was number 35, and the Cubs picked up their 35th win. We've seen a lot of straightforward riddles with that. The jersey number going with the assigned win or loss. So that seems to be possibly a very low-hanging fruit way of picking games. The Cubs became 22-11 in their 33rd home game, those master numbers. Talked about that yesterday. The Cardinals had a shot at their 32nd win on the lesser date numerology at 32. Again, that lesser date numerology seems to be more consistent at the beginning of the month, but Cubs had a decent riddle, so no surprises, they won. The Phillies yesterday, their pitcher on the mound was attempting to become 6-5, like 65, big number there with Philadelphia. And yesterday was June 7th, kind of like 67, the 19th prime. Reds picked up their 19th away loss. So there wasn't a lot to go off of, but we did favor the Phillies. That came through. The Diamondbacks seemed to have the best riddle of the day, and they won by a big margin. They became 32-32 on the 32 date. The Blue Jays pitcher picked up his 42nd career loss. Arizona 42, Diamondbacks 42, and the Diamondbacks became 4-2 in Toronto all time. It's possible the Diamondbacks sweep this series. The Blue Jays would get to 42 losses. The Rockies and the Mets, I was thinking the Rockies would win just one game in this series, and I was thinking they would not win yesterday. I thought the Mets had a better riddle yesterday. Mets could have stayed on 32 losses on the 32 date. Rockies could have stayed on 32 wins. They did not. And the pitcher for the Rockies, his name equaled 103. The Mets could have got their 103rd win against the Rockies. The pitcher Gematria, it's like so often it's enticing and then it doesn't come through. You know, I wasn't leading with that with the Mets game yesterday. There were some other things I liked, but even the pitcher named Gematria was there and it didn't come through. So that's why I haven't been decoding pitcher names lately. It just seems to be, again, the ultimate temptation that's not consistent. So the Twins and the Tigers. Twins had the better narrative yesterday. Tigers had a prayer, but Twins had the better narrative. The Twins did sub out their pitcher in the morning, switched up pitchers. And when teams have done that, it's made games iffy. But had the Twins kept in Kyle Gibson yesterday, it would have been Lock City. But yeah, they still came through with the win anyway. The pitcher they subbed in had that 44-44 record, and had he lost, he would have been 4-4 in Detroit's 44. So made that game curious. I said out of the two New York games yesterday, I liked the Mets better. Interesting, both New York teams lost. Thought the Yankees had a shot too, but the Indians had the narrative as well. They picked up the 32nd win on the 32 date. They could have picked up the 32nd loss as well, so that's why that one was kind of a crapshoot. And German for the Yankees did get a loss, so he's not going to be able to do that 10-1, 11-1 thing. He's 9-2 now. Score was 2-5 on a 25 date. Talk about the possibility of the Rays sweeping the Red Sox. They started out with a win yesterday. They have a doubleheader today. I think whoever wins the first game today will probably win the second. And if that's the Rays, again, that sweep looks likely because they'd be 23-9 away. 23 is the 9th prime number. And remember, the series began on a 52-date numerology. 239 is the 52nd prime. If the Red Sox won the first game today, they'd get to 15 home wins. And if they won the second, they'd get to 16 home wins. Today has 53 date numerology, the 16th prime. That's why I said whoever wins the first game, I believe they'll win the second. The Marlins had a decent riddle to upset yesterday. They would have been the big payout yesterday. They were a heavy underdog. They got beat soundly. Their narrative was becoming 2-5 against the Braves on the 25 date numerology. Wasn't so. The A's and the Rangers, the riddle for the A's was to get the 32nd win and keep the Rangers at 32 wins on the 32 date numerology. The riddle for the Rangers was to give the Athletics the 32nd loss on the 32 date and pick up their 239th home win against the A's on the 52 date, 239, the 52nd prime, Texas Rangers 52, Arlington 52. The prime number relationships with the date have not been coming through in win-loss records. I was a little bit more hopeful about this one with the Rangers because they also have the team name and location connection to 52. So that wasn't so. We talked about how the Astros could split their next two games with the Orioles. Said it was pretty likely the Astros would win yesterday. Today, the Orioles have Cashner on their mound, the best pitcher for the Orioles. If the Astros do get beat today, they'll fall to 23-9, 23, the ninth prime number. And yesterday, the Astros line was negative 360, so it seemed unlikely. It was a close game, but today the Orioles should have a shot. The Brewers had the better riddle yesterday. They were the likely winner in this game. The Pirates picked up their 32nd loss on the 32 date. The one riddle the Pirates had going, which would have been a big payout as well, is they could have made the Brewers 3-2 against the Pirates if the Brewers lost yesterday on a 32 date. But that 32nd loss was the most likely variable on the board. The White Sox and Royals was a crapshoot. Both teams had a little bit of a riddle. White Sox, they could have stayed on 32 losses on the 32 date, but again, staying on a number on the date, never as consistent of a riddle. And the Mariners, they avoided picking up their 19th away loss in their 67th game, 67, the 19th prime. They're the first team to play in their 67th game. I'm wondering if for whatever reason the 19 primes aren't going to play this year. It's 2019. You would think they would, but it's kind of like how the 19-8 records has been very inconsistent. This was our first shot at a team in their 67th game. Just remember this when the other ones come up. The Mariners in their 67th game didn't pick up their 19th away loss, and Seattle equals 19. So maybe the 19 primes aren't going to play in 2019. Just something I'm thinking about. Score was 6-2, Seattle Mariners 62. Nationals, they could have made the Padres 32-32 on the 32 date. They could have made the Padres 3-2 versus the Nationals for the season, and they didn't. So I thought the Nationals had a good riddle yesterday. 2 days in a row, I think the same score as well. I think 2 days in a row, the score was 4-5. So something's going on with that. And then the Giants yesterday. Thought they'd stay on 25 wins on the 25 date. Big number for them. Pick up the 37th loss against Los Angeles. Instead, they stayed on 36 losses against the Dodgers. So a lot of decent riddles did not come through yesterday. And, you know, baseball was very good to us for about 3 weeks straight. Now for about a week, it's been pretty mediocre. And it hasn't been anywhere as near as bad as those 2 weeks where it was just like everything that lined up went the exact opposite. But it's definitely been a lot worse than it was the 3 weeks prior. So I imagine it'll be like this throughout the season. We'll get in these hot streaks, and then we'll have a period where, you know, the riddles just didn't come through like they did, you know, in the week or two prior. But that's just what we're going to have to gauge as the season goes along. So it's not like it's the end of the world. But we were above 500 for the week, but it was a pretty mediocre week overall for baseball. And then for me, the adding insult to injury was just the playoffs. The stronger riddles seem to not come through as well. So the narrative today is: do the Warriors need to bring Kevin Durant back? Do they need to rush him through this supposed injury he has? And if you still haven't seen the highlight of Kevin Durant's injury, please just go watch it. Just do a YouTube search and type in Kevin Durant Game 5 Rockets injury. You'll see he hits the shot. He starts to gallop down the court, and then all of a sudden he pulls up, and he's like, oh, am I supposed to act like I'm hurt? Is this the play we do it on? There's nothing wrong with this guy. It's just a complete joke. And by the way, next game, Game 5, will be 33 days after his injury. He was injured May 8th, 5-8, Oakland 58, Golden State 58. You can write that date 8-5 as well, basketball 85. So if he does come back in the next game, it'll be 33 days after the supposed injury. And, of course, NBA Finals is 33. I imagine you guys watched the video yesterday that I put out on the 109 points through the first 3 games. Scorpion equals 109. That's the Drake album. We know the Raptors series has a lot to do with Drake. I realized yesterday that that album was released on Kawhi Leonard's birthday. And again, if this series does go 7 games, that'll be 353 days from Kawhi's birthday and the release of the Drake album, which is the 71st prime. Toronto Raptors is 71. So I still think Game 7's in the cards. I do worry slightly about the Warriors getting closed out the next game in Toronto, because if they do, they will have played 21 playoff games. It's the 73rd NBA season. 73 is the 21st prime number. And also, we know from yesterday that if the Warriors didn't win another game against Toronto, they'd have 29 franchise wins against them. 109 is the 29th prime number. So all those 109s at the beginning of the series, it could be foreshadowing that. And you know what else equals 21? Drake. Drake equals 21 in the most pure cipher. So, and that Scorpion album released on a 73 date numerology. One other thing I was thinking about is this is the Warriors' 5th straight championship that they've been in, and 5 is the 3rd prime. If they lost, they would have won 3 of 5. And of course, 35 has been a big number in the championships. King James equals 35. You know, when LeBron lost to Durant his first year with the Warriors, LeBron became 3-5 in finals. Durant, number 35, has been the MVP the last 2. And I heard one of the ESPN commentators say Durant shouldn't come back even if he is ready, because this will just strengthen his legacy. It's just amazing to hear people say stuff like this. Like, dude, the guy's paid $27 million a year to play basketball, and you're saying he shouldn't come back because it makes the Warriors look bad and it strengthens his legacy? I mean, we just live in the most insane times listening to people talk like this. But what I was also thinking about is if Durant did come back, oh, by the way, Raptors equals 35 if I didn't say that. So Raptors is the 35 piece in this. If the Warriors did lose and won 3 of 5. But if Durant does come back 33 days after the injury, and let's say he comes back and plays lights out, and the Warriors rally and do win the finals, coming back from down 3-1, like the Cavs did to him the year that LeBron won on the real King James's birthday. If that happened, if Durant came back 33 days after the injury and they won 3 straight, they'd win 3 straight finals as well. So I don't think the Warriors are out, but I do see, you know, what it could be if they lose. Winning 3 of 5, Toronto, the whole Durant fake injury, hearing, you know, the commentary this morning say how this strengthens Durant's legacy by, and it's also just bullshit listening to him talk. They're like, you can just see how bad the Warriors are without Durant. It's like, wait a minute. Did the Warriors just not beat the Rockets in the game where Durant got hurt, where they still had a quarter to play in a close game? Did they not go on the next game and beat them on the road in Houston? And did they not then sweep the Blazers right after that, the other Western Conference, you know, title contender? It's just, if you listen to commentary in sports and you actually think and use your own brain, you're like, this doesn't make any sense what they're saying. I mean, so anyway, it's not over, but Curry, you know, not getting the win yesterday, making it 7-3 in the 73rd NBA season, 85 days after his birthday. I don't take that as a good sign, because that should have been, let me look at the box score here too. That seems like that should have been a good alignment for Curry. 85, his name equals 85, basketball's 85, big number there. So Leonard went for 36, the Toronto number. And yeah, Klay Thompson was the only person who shot the ball well yesterday. Guess minus Looney off the bench. But 36 field goals made for Toronto as well. 35 for the Warriors. Okay. So the other thing with them being down 3-1, remember the first series for Oakland or for the Warriors against the Clippers, they blew that 31-point lead on a 31-date numerology. The Warriors have rallied from 3-1 before. The same year that they rallied from 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals against Kevin Durant, that was the year that LeBron rallied from 3-1. So if Durant comes back, they could rally from 3-1. They are the better team. It's all script. It's all narrative. It's all theater. That guy this morning who was saying it would strengthen Durant's legacy if he sat out and the Warriors lost in the next game. It would strengthen his legacy more if he came back and brought him back from a 3-1 deficit. So I'm still leaning on this going to Father's Day. And if it does get to Father's Day, I'm still going to be leaning on the Warriors too, because again, they're the team that can get the 73rd win, and that would keep the Raptors at 73 wins on the season and the 73rd NBA season. So they get past that game in Toronto. I don't think they're going to lose Game 6 in Oakland in the last game in Oracle. Make sure this is on. Okay. All right. Let me make sure everything's connected. Okay, everything is connected. What's up, caller?
Hey, so today we have two really good games. Just to start off, the one that a lot of people have today is the Diamondbacks. Aaron Sanchez is on 32 wins, 25 losses. Diamondbacks at 32-32. They could improve to 33-32. Arizona Diamondbacks equals 333. So when you have the hyphen removed, that's like 3,332 or 333 times 2, another 666 reference. The 666 stuff has been hidden. A Sanchez is 32-40. Sanchez equals 32. Zach, someone had mentioned the other day that the first name on pitchers is kind of relevant. So Zach equals 41-14. Z Greinke equals 40. TOR, like Toronto's abbreviation is 17. They could fall to 11-17 today. Toronto equals 117. Arizona Diamondbacks equals 117. Blue Jays equals 23. ZG equals 33-21. Blue Jays could go to 12-21 at home, like 33. Greinke is number 21. Sanchez is number 41. So the Blue Jays fall into 41st loss. You kind of fit with it. You had mentioned just earlier the Jersey number could be a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly. The Blue Jays getting that 21st home loss versus number 21. And yeah, I like them today too. Greinke can become 7-2 on the season. Toronto 72. The pitcher, the one thing I see going for the Blue Jays, the one narrative for them is Sanchez getting his 33rd win on the 33 date, but the 26 date numerology is more apparent. He can get his 26th loss, so I lean that way. I do like Arizona too. I have a feeling they're going to sweep this series.
Well, yeah, because 42 is Arizona and Diamondbacks equals 42.
Yeah,
and it would end in 42 losses.
I noticed the Diamondbacks can say on 16 away losses as well on the 53 date, 53 the 16th prime. And if the Blue Jays lose, they're 9-9 versus the Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks is 99. We've seen that 99 play a few times already this year with them. So, yeah, I like the Diamondbacks today just like I did yesterday. I think they're a good call.
There's just like a couple other points in the game I just want to point out, and then I'll move on to the Cubs game. So Greinke equals 69. If Diamondbacks win, they would go to 19-16 away, which is like 96, a reflection of 69. This gets back into the removing the ones and the hyphen.
Diamondbacks is 96 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they would improve 13-13 day. And then I already mentioned the Blue Jays 42 losses, and then Greinke's at 193 and 120. So the loss sustained at 120 would fit this 21 ritual to play out. Aaron equals 49, like 194 is reflection. We dropped to 1. Blue Jays equals 49. Diamondbacks are 8-9 head-to-head against the Blue Jays. They can go to 9-9. Arizona Diamondbacks equals 81 full reduction. 81 equals 9 times 9.
Well, their name equals 99 as well. So.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So that was that. But that one seems kind of like obvious. The other one that at the surface level, there is kind of a possibility for the Cardinals, but once you kind of dig into it, it's just totally Lester. All right, so Chicago Cubs equals 62, reflection of 26 state numerology. It's also 206, like 26. John Lester equals 53. He's going for his 153rd day of age for this year. Debut age was 22 on 155 days. That was June 10th, 2006. Today is the 26th date numerology. J Lester equals 26. If you include the end date from 6/10/2006 to 6/8/2019, so today, this is what stands out the most. It's 4,747 days, 47. And so it's basically an anniversary of that debut. The Cubs can stay on 1,174 losses all the time against the Cardinals, I think. And then if he won 3-0, it would kind of fit into the whole 155 months, 30 days aspect in relation to how things line up. St. Louis equals 47. Flaherty, this is the thing that's kind of interesting. So he could go to 5-3 this season on the 53 date numerology. He could also go to 12-15 all time, which is like 25. St. Louis equals 25. Jack equals 25. What really stands out, though, is Lester can improve to 5-4. Baseball equals 54. St. Louis Cardinals at Chicago Cubs equals 475, like 47 ritual and 5 being the 5th win for him. Kind of abstract. Lester enters with a 3.32 ERA. So if you're thinking about the 31-31 possibility, there's like 33. And then the 1-1, so it's like 3.32. But that, like I said, it's more abstract. The other thing, though, that ties in, if you look at the signing date for Lester for the Cubs, that was 12/9/2014, which is the night before he made the announcement. The announcement he made on Twitter, and that was on 12/10/2014, and he did that at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. And in that, his first sentence was, "To Red Sox Nation, I understand the disappointment." That's 5:30 English Ordinal. So if there is this Lester ritual, it seems to be that it would also tie in with the Red Sox losing today as almost like a shame ritual for the Red Sox losing him.
Well, Boston Red Sox is 53. We have the 53 date numerology. What could go in the Cubs' favor is if they win, they're 5-3 versus the Cardinals this year. But I also noticed, again, like you said, the Cardinals pitcher could become 5-3 today with the win. And if Lester lost, he'd be 4-5. That's a big number there in Chicago. Cubs is 45, Wrigley's 45, Major League's 45, Cardinals is 45. So I'm personally not crazy about that game. If the Cubs win one more in the series, they're at 36 wins. Cardinals is also 36. If they sweep it, they'll get to 37. Chicago's 37. But
I mean, this is the first time I've looked at the debut and signing date relation. But once I looked at it last night, the whole 54 months from the day he signed and going for 5-4, it's one of these weird things where it just seems like it's going to line up.
It could. If you want to do the network thing, that could also go in the Cubs' favor. Fox equals 18 like Cubs, and the Cardinals could get their 18th away loss today on Fox.
Oh, nice. I didn't notice that one.
So
the other one, in terms of just like kind of quickly addressing the Red Sox game, the early one, so they could fall to 33-31, the Red Sox, and then 33-32 in the second game if they lose both. 3,331 equals the 470th prime. So that kind of ties in with the whole Lester 47 days since his debut. And then they would fall to 14-14 at home, and then 14-15 at home, and then 13-11 a day or 13-12 a day. And then they would, or actually, well, 13-12 wouldn't happen because the next game is the night game. But so Tampa Bay Rays equals 142, like 14-2, so the 14-14 kind of lines up. TV equals 14, Red Sox equals 31, Tampa Bay Rays at Boston Red Sox equals 333, and you have the 33 game numerology going on. So it just seems like the first game is going to happen with the Rays, just if it has a 3-3-3-1, and then if they get the second one, it would be the 3-3-3-2, which would set up the 6-6-6 reference, because the whole 3-3-3 times 2. I've been noticing that a lot.
Well, I talked about yesterday how the Rays could win 3 in a row here against Boston and get to 23-9 because the series began on the 52 date. 239 is the 52nd prime plus 23 is the 9th prime. So if the Rays win the doubleheader today, that will be the case. I think whoever wins the first game of the doubleheader probably wins the second as well. Because if Boston won both, they'd get to 16 home wins on the 53 date. 53 is the 16th prime. But I'm leaning towards the Rays too. If the Rays win the first two, or if the Rays win the two today, the Red Sox stay on 33 wins on the 33 date.
And then they follow 33 losses tomorrow.
Them being 14-14 after the first game makes some sense too, because Tampa Bay Rays equals 43, the 14th prime. But that could the 143 that could go against the Rays is Yarbrough falling to 4-3. So
I've noticed the pitcher records. It's more dicey.
Of course it is. Yeah, it is. So.
And yesterday, just as like kind of a thing to kind of rehash. So we had seen the Pineda had gotten put in instead of the guy who was like Mr.
Kyle
52,
Gibson.
you called him. The Kyle Gibson getting replaced, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it turned out to be a case where it kind of broke the trend of if they take out the pitcher and put someone else in, does the opposing team then win? And instead, the 47 ritual for the Twins yesterday played out more so. I think it was like somewhere they get to like 4-7 head-to-head or something like that. And that was what ended up hitting. So the 47 and 666 stuff has been kind of the past few days coming up a lot. I mean, just I think earlier in the week you had a game where it was like number 47 versus number 47.
Right, that was the A's and Angels, right.
So that's what had really kind of stood out for me. There's a small note about the White Sox-Royals game. I'm kind of leaning the White Sox. We're at 29-33, 12-19 away, 11-21 day. They can improve to 30-33, 13-19 like 39, and 12-21 day like 33-30 the day numerology. Have you noticed much with the 12-21 stuff? I know some people think it's more likely when you have things that could be like 11-22, the master numbers, but I think with the 33 day numerology, it makes more sense.
Sure. We see a lot of symmetry in the records. I mean, it does happen a lot. This week we talked about 54-45 records, 139, 193. Not perfect symmetry there, but you do see that show up a lot in the records, the patterns and the win-loss. So I see what you're saying with the Royals falling to 12-21. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just some quick notes on the Athletics and Rangers game. My initial thought on that was that the Rangers would win. I'm talking about the morning game. I really looked into the night one. So Joe Palumbo is number 62 from birthday to today is 226 days, 32 weeks, 2 days. So there's your 322 connection.
Oh, he's number 62? When I looked it up, it said he was number 75.
Oh,
let me double check. Okay.
Did I miswrite it down?
Maybe I got the wrong jersey number. Let me look. I got him as number 75 for the Rangers. Could be bad information. But yeah, these jerseys that come up, they show 75. Palumbo.
Oh, weird. On my site, when I'm just pulling automatically from ESPN, it's saying it's 62.
Huh. If you do a web search, I mean, just like even the ones that just come up in the Google images, they're all Palumbo 75. Unless they changed his jersey number.
Oh, weird. Must be an error then in terms of what's getting pulled in from ESPN's API. Because I'm just going off of what I have on the Sports Decoded site.
Okay.
And that pulls directly from ESPN.
Okay.
But anyways, that would kind of screw this up because the Palumbo equals 26, JP equals 26, Rangers going for the 33rd win. So the A's are kind of going for the 32. The A's could fall to 14-17, Arlington equals 47. So then, again, that's the like room of the ones and the hyphen, the 47 reference. If the A's fall 32-32, it's like you have the 33 and the 22 there for master numbers. The date numerology, and then Oakland equals 22, Paul equals 22, because it's Paul Blackburn as the pitcher for the A's.
Sure.
Pollock was 14. P. Blackburn equals 170. Blackburn could fall to 5-5, which fits the whole 32-32 narrative if that were to happen. And he would, if he did win, I think he would improve then to 3-3 on the year. And interestingly, he has allowed 33 hits so far. But if the Rangers did not lose, they stay at 11 home losses, and Arlington equals 110.
Huh.
So that was just what kind of stood out for me. Another thing that was interesting was yesterday's Brewers box score was interesting. So it was 10 runs, 15 hits, the whole 115 connection.
Miller Park 115.
Yeah, and then today, a lot of people have Astros, but there's that whole 23-9 possibility, 23-9's prime.
Right.
So I was iffy on that. It seems that it could kind of go either way, but if the prime stuff is not hidden, it would go Orioles today, or rather, it would go Astros rather.
Right.
If the prime is not hidden.
I was going to say about the Athletics Rangers doubleheader. It's possible those teams split today because then they'd both be at 33 wins on the 33 date. But in the Athletics' favor, if they won both their games today, they'd be 16-16 on this 53 date numerology, the 16th prime. So if the Rangers won both, the Athletics could get to 33 losses. But I think that's the scenario that would surprise me the most. Splitting, I could see, or A's winning both seems to be the better narrative based on the date.
Yeah, the Rangers series is definitely one that's more iffy. It seems more so that the Rays one is kind of the more in your face possibilities in terms of what's actually going to line up if you go out with a couple games. But anyways, that was what I just wanted to bring up. Today just seemed like a really good day for the Reds, the Diamondbacks and the Cubs, especially.
I like the Diamondbacks. I'm not crazy about the Cubs personally, but hey, if you like it, go with it. It could be the winner.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll let you get back to it.
All right. Thanks, man.
Bye.
All right. Okay. So again, just to the Rays game, we talked about the possibility of them winning 3 straight against the Red Sox to get to that 23-9. They won the first one yesterday. If they win the doubleheader today, they're there. If the Red Sox won the doubleheader today, I really do think whoever wins this first game is going to win the second game, because if the Red Sox win the first, they get to 16 home wins. Today's date numerology is 53, the 16th prime. The date numerology today, 53, 26, 33. If you just add the day plus the month, it's 14. It's also the 159th day of the year, leaving 206 days remaining. When we talk about the horse racing, I'm just wondering about if that 206 matters, because that's the Seattle area code, and Seattle Slew once won the Triple Crown there. The favorite horse, Tacitus, its heritage is, or its ancestors are Secretariat, who has the time record, and Seattle Slew. And that 206 thing. So we'll talk about that later. There's some other nice riddles for some of the horses that pay a lot better, but keep thinking about that with the horse race today. It's the 19th day of Gemini, leaving 13 days remaining. Just keeping an eye on the astrology count. So the one thing that I could see going against the Rays in the first game is their pitcher. If he fell to 4-3, just because Tampa Bay raises 43. But I think a little bit more lines up for the Rays today. The Red Sox are 3-3 versus the Rays this year. If the Rays won, they'd be 4-3 versus the Red Sox. You could look at that either way. If either team won both, they would become 5-3. So that's why I think whoever wins the first game wins the second. If either team swept doubleheader, they would be 5-3 on 53 date. So could be a strategy today if you just want to watch the first game. I think it'll be a good sign for the second game. The Athletics and Rangers game, the doubleheader, the first one I'm not crazy about because you got these two pitchers that don't have anything really to go off of. Caller?
Yeah, hello, yeah. Zach, I don't want to take up too much time. I know you got a lot to get to, but yeah, whatever you're doing with that Blue Jays series has been pretty money. So whatever you're looking at with that game has been awesome because the last 4 games have been all winners with the Blue Jays.
Right, you're right. The Blue Jays are on a streak right now for us, so that's true.
Yeah, so whatever you're doing with that game, you know, I don't know if you should incorporate the other games. I know the other games are different, but
well, I mean, what's going different with the Blue Jays series is it's following the patterns right now where a lot of other teams aren't. We're just kind of in this lull where, because I mean, we're doing the same thing with the Blue Jays that we do with all the other games. It's just they're following the patterns that traditionally win for us.
Right. Well, I've been on the Blue Jays for the last couple of days, and that's where I've been, you know, making. If I made any money, that's where it's been. But the other games have been kind of so up and down, like with the Mets too. Like we've been calling the Mets up and down, up and down. They've been hit or miss. And a couple other teams too, but the Blue Jays have been pretty much hit. So I'm liking them again today with the pick you like for that. So that's probably the best pick again.
Yeah, it is a good observation. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, they have been following the patterns. So
exactly. So, but like you said, it's different with every team. So that's the only team you might not be able to follow that same pattern with the other games. So
right.
And one more thing. So who is it that you like for the Belmont Stakes? What's the one I should go with?
Well, I'm gonna do that live stream as soon as I'm done with this. So I want to get through this, and I'm just gonna fire it up, and we can talk about it for hours if we need to, because we have until about 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 East Coast to have the bets in. So we'll fire it up and we'll look at it real thorough, because I spent a lot of time looking at it yesterday. I meant to get the video up yesterday, but things didn't work out for me yesterday. So anyway, that's directly after this. As soon as this live stream's over, I'm starting up the Belmont Stakes. I'm going to go at it for as long as we need to.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, good. Well, what was I about to say? If you could, like before, like the live Decode. Well, you most time you do, but it'd be best if you could just, you know, blurt out like the 4 best picks you like, the 4 best ones for the day. That way I could just try to go off that. But like I said, the Blue Jays one has been pretty good so far. The rest of the ones have been there too, a couple of them, but they've been just more up and down. But the Blue Jays one has been straight through. So, and if they won today, that'll be 5 straight. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's been a mediocre week the last week, that's for sure. But the Blue Jays have been the shining spot. So you're right on about that.
Yeah. Even the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers have been pretty good too. He's been pretty good with the Dodgers, but the Dodgers did lose yesterday. Even though we had them to win yesterday, they didn't do that. Which was kind of surprised with that 35 and that 41 and what was it? 25 and 37. There you go. With that whole thing, but that didn't work out for some reason. But another team that's been up and down is the Mariners too. The Mariners won. Just seems like when they don't have a good riddle, they win, and when they do, they don't. So I'm like,
yeah, I know, man. They're off.
Yeah. And I know you have them pegged so far this year, but I don't know. I mean, baseball is a game of runs, but the way they're playing though, it's just tough to peg on that one. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of season left. A whole lot of things can change, but yeah.
Yeah. And then one last thing, just in case anybody wants to know, if you were to take the Warriors to win the series right now, they're plus 500 to come back and win. If anybody wants to know the odds of that, that's what it is there right now. I imagine it will go up once they roll Kevin Durant back. That'll probably go down a little bit, and maybe if they win a game. So if you wanted to take a chance on it, now would be the best time for anybody to take a chance.
So, and here's something else to think about. When the Cavs were down 3-1, they were plus. It was 40-1. So the Warriors are only 5-1. So think about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a huge difference. But I'm assuming they're assuming that Kevin Durant's going to play, so that's a huge difference in that game. So
yeah.
But yeah, man. Just wanted to let you know, man. Just keep a lookout for whatever you're doing in that Blue Jays game. Maybe you can incorporate that same knowledge in the other games. Maybe. Just maybe.
Well, I'm telling you, I mean, we're not doing anything different with the Blue Jays series. It's just following the patterns like we expect. So that's the difference.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For some reason, I guess we're not getting the patterns right on the other games. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the patterns are just off right now. Well, right now, but the good thing about this is that you could be off, and then next thing you know, when it does come through, it just feels so much better, you know, because we've been getting kind of stung lately.
We have. Yeah, you're right about that, man. All right, I'll keep it moving. I'll see if I can pick out four that I like. So.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
man. Okay, so again, the doubleheader strategies have been good this year. If you've done really well in doubleheader games, a lot of times the strategy is to watch the first game because it indicates the second. Caller?
Hey, just one last quick thing. So I double-checked. It is number 62. He's making his debut today. And what's interesting is normally the MLB rosters are 25, but because it's a doubleheader, they have 26.
How did you verify that his number was 62?
I went to the MLB website, and I just looked at the preview for today's game.
Okay. Well, were you looking at the screen when we were talking about it? Because I was showing all the Palumbo jerseys with 75 on them.
Well, I'm looking at MLB.com game day with the preview, and it has Joe Palumbo, LHP, number 62.
Okay, they must have changed his number then.
Yeah, it must have been his minor league number.
Well, they're Rangers jerseys, so.
Oh, weird. It might have been spring training. I don't know. But either way, today MLB shows number 62. And he's the 26th man on the roster today.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting. Normally it's 25, but because it's a doubleheader, it's 26 today. Next year, all of the league goes to 26 on every day.
Yeah, I do see that on this site. They do have him as 62. Okay, so he's worn 75 and 62.
Yeah, so it would fit then with what I was saying before in terms of the 26-62 reflection overlap with Palumbo.
All right.
But because it's his debut, it's kind of iffy because he's also going against a guy who's number 58, the whole Freemason number. And with today, 33 day numerology, it makes it kind of iffy in that regard.
He's born on the 26th of October in New York. Okay. All right.
Yeah, a lot of 26s on the board for him. But yeah, I just want to point that out.
All right. Yeah, good job. Thanks. Okay, so again, just I really do think whoever wins the first game today will win the second for this doubleheader. If that happens, that team will become 5-3 versus the opponent on this date with 53 numerology. And out of the gate, I'm favoring the Red Sox to do it just because they can get to 23-9, the prime number relationship that's come through. The riddle for the Red Sox, though, would be to get to 16 home wins on the 53 date. 53, the 16th prime, plus Boston Red Sox is 53. So I should make that note up here. So the safe strategy could be to just watch the first game, and whoever wins the first one, I'd feel fairly confident that they're going to win the following. Athletics and Rangers, again, the two scenarios here for the doubleheader is they could split and both get to 33 wins on the 33 date, or the Athletics could take both, and they'd be 16-16 away, 53 the 16th prime. If the Rangers won the first one, I would feel pretty good about the Athletics winning the second. If the Athletics won the first one, I'd be a little bit more conflicted because then I'd see like, ooh, shoot, they can get to 16-16 away, or the Rangers can pick up 33 here. So the guy who just called in, he likes the Rangers because of the Palumbo 62 thing. So if the Rangers do pick up number 1 with Palumbo, I think that would be a good sign for the Athletics in game 2. The White Sox and the Royals, if the White Sox win today, they stay on 33 losses on the 33 date. Giolito's 5-0 versus the Royals for his career. Let me see. Keller is 3-2 versus the White Sox for his career. If he lost, he'd be 3-3 on the 33 date. And check something real quick. Yeah, Chicago White Sox is 74. Okay. If the White Sox won, they'd be 7-4 versus the Royals. White Sox would be 7-4 with a W versus Royals. Chicago White Sox equals 74. So I think the White Sox are decent today. Again, they have date numerology in their favor. They have the pitcher record in their favor. Giolito's been pitching very well this season. You get that symmetry in the Royals record, 12-21 at home. The Gemini day count, which is still something I'm just observing, seeing if it matters. If the White Sox won, they'd be 13-19 away. Today's the 19th day of Gemini, leaving 13 days remaining. So seems to fit. But I do think the White Sox are halfway decent today. And I do like the Diamondbacks. Again, Greinke can get to 7-2 on the season. Toronto 72. The only concern is the Blue Jays pitcher could get his 33rd win on this 33 date, but the 26 date numerology is more pure, and he can get his 26th loss today as well. Caller?
How you doing, Zach?
Doing well, man. What's up?
It's Simple Truth.
Oh, hey.
I got a couple of games for you if you want to look at them.
Okay.
I was looking at the Padres game. They look good for today, and the Marlins game. Now the Marlins, the Padres game, I see that the manager for the Nationals, he's on his 256th day of his age on Sunday.
Okay.
So if the Nationals win, if they lose both of these games, they will be at 256 all-time wins against the Padres.
On the manager's 256th
They can
day.
stay on 256 on Sunday.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
On the 256th day of the manager's age.
Okay.
And, if they do sweep, sweep is 22, and then the Nationals will stay on 22 roll losses. So they'll be on 22 roll losses, excuse me.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have anything?
The one thing I saw is Scherzer. If Scherzer won today, he'd get his 163rd win, which is the 38th prime, and San Diego's 38 in the most pure cipher.
Okay.
I didn't want to write home about that just because I don't like to lead with the pitchers, but that was the only thing that was really jumping out to me at this game, just on the date and the record. If the Padres lost today, they'd also stay on 33 wins on the 33 date. San Diego Padres is 137, the 33rd prime. But that's really interesting what you said. I do see the 256 losses versus the Nationals. So I see what you're saying with the manager's date of birth. It's interesting.
Yeah, he's on his 256th day of his age tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right.
So they can sweep, and then Nationals, they'll have 13 and 22 on the road. 20 sweep equals 22.
Okay. Okay.
And the other game was the Marlins game. Those are two good underdogs. You guys want to take them with the cover. You don't have to take them to win. But I think those games are going to be beneficial today because the line's going to be pretty good on the Padres and the Marlins.
What's your thought? What's your thought with the Marlins?
Let me just pull it up for you. So the Marlins, okay. So I noticed that the Marlins manager, he's on his 49th day of his age, and the Braves pitcher is wearing the number 49. I don't know if that's been consistent, but I just found that to be, something interesting that the manager's on his 49th day of his age and the pitcher's wearing number 49, and that the Marlins can improve their head-to-head record versus the Braves today to 2-6.
2-6, right.
And
they'd stay at 260 losses versus the Braves as well if they did that.
Yeah, and the Miami Marlins are 5-2 straight up in the last 7 games. So if they win today, they'll be 6-2, like the reflection.
Sure. Okay.
And I get this stuff from like Odshark. If you go to the website Odshark and you go all the way to the bottom where it says trends, I don't know who controls Odshark, but I think that whoever does, they do things by the numbers as well.
Sure.
They put a lot of information on it down there that you're like, wow, why would they put that stat up there, 5-2 straight up in the last 7 games? Like, who really cares about that?
Sure.
But obviously it's because of the date.
Sure. And yesterday, so that stat goes through yesterday, which was the 25 date numerology, which breaks down to 7.
Exactly. Yesterday I had that 25, yep. So
the one thing that worries me about the Marlins, and again, this pattern hasn't been real consistent, but if the Marlins did lose, they'd stay at 11 home wins in their 31st game. and 11's the 31st, or 31's the 11th prime, but that hasn't been real consistent. But yeah, I did see the Marlins becoming 2-6 on the 26th date and staying at 260 losses. So it is there.
Yeah, and those are good lines because they both underdogs, the Marlins and the Padres today. Big underdogs at that.
Yeah.
So, you know, people can make a lot of cash on those picks.
All right. Well, good observation. I just I worry about Scherzer getting that 163rd win in San Diego, though. Be a good spot to get it.
So, you know, you could take the run line, the cover. You know, the points are there for them. So.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, man. Take care. Nice speaking to you again.
All right. Good work. Keep it up. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, man.
Okie dokie. So, all right. I think we just did the Diamondbacks and Blue Jays game. We're just moving down the list. We'll review these games he just called about. Where did I go here with my notes? Okay. So Diamondbacks, Blue Jays, again, Greinke with the win can get to 7-2. Toronto 72. Sanchez, he can pick up his 26th loss. That's the most pure date numerology today, 26. He could also get his 33rd win on the lesser date numerology. I have noticed the lesser date numerology play a factor with the pitcher record, so it's not to be, ignored. That is the one riddle for the Blue Jays today. But I'm right now I'm liking the Diamondbacks sweep narrative. To me, the Blue Jays getting to 42 losses. That 42 really plays with Arizona, just like how yesterday that was the number and it came through. Also, just looking at the jersey numbers, Greinke's number 21. He can dish out the 21st home loss to the Blue Jays. And we've seen a lot of 99 with the Diamondbacks in this short season. If the Blue Jays lose today, they're 9-9 versus the Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks 99. And Arizona Diamondbacks is also 81. Today's the 81st day of the season. So I like the Diamondbacks again. And if they win today, I think they will sweep tomorrow. We'll cover that game. They got to get past today first. The Reds and the Phillies. Pivetta for the Phillies. What could go against him is he could pick up his 26th loss. Philadelphia's 101, the 26th prime. This pitcher though for the Reds with a loss, he's 4-5, and remember Phillies is 45 with both reduction ciphers, so that's there as well. The last time I talked about that, or maybe it wasn't last time. One of the times that I was talking about that potential for a pitcher, it didn't come through. Doesn't mean it won't this time. Yesterday, I talked about this at the beginning of the live stream, and I should have just went with it because it happened in both games where it was a possibility. In the 33rd home game or 33rd away game, the two teams that had that opportunity to be 22-11, all master numbers, they did. So the Phillies have this same opportunity yesterday. They'd be 22-11 with the win. Two teams had that opportunity yesterday. They both came through. And also just talking about pitcher jersey numbers and the straightforward, seemingly low-hanging fruit riddles. Tanner Roark wears the number 35, and the Reds can pick up their 35th loss today. So the only thing I could say about the other jersey number is Pivetta wears 43, which is the 14th prime number, and the Reds could get their 14th away win. So I think the riddles are a little bit better for the Phillies, but Pivetta's 26th potential loss on the 26th date is there. That said, Reds equals 19. He could also get his 19th win today against the Reds. So I lean Phillies in this one. Slightly worry about the 26th loss on the 26th date. But again, with pitcher records, those patterns, they're not coming through anywhere near consistently. So again, Phillies got the better angle. The Orioles and Astros, this is the risk-reward game of the day. Orioles got their best pitcher on the mound. They came close yesterday to getting the win. If the Astros lose, they're 23-9. That powerful prime number relationship, 23 the ninth prime. So Cashner can also get his 53rd career win today on the 53 date. And he could stay at 81 losses on the 81st day of the MLB season. He's 3-7 versus the Astros. If he won, he'd be 4-7. The relevance of that number could be where Baltimore's from, Maryland. Maryland's 47, but if he was playing in Baltimore, I'd feel better about that. Make sure I'm not sleeping on some. Oh, you know what? I am sleeping on a 38 here. Okay, so this is what could go against Cashner. Astros is 38 when you use the rules with S. I need to make this note here. This has to be up there. So if Cashner lost, he would be 3-8 versus the Astros. Their team name does equal 38. Also, speaking of the master number relationships that were 2 for 2 yesterday, this is the Orioles' 33rd away game. If they lose, they're 11-22. So there are some things definitely going against the Orioles here, but at the same time, it's a risk-reward type of game. They're going to be a great payout if it hits. So if I did bet it, I wouldn't bet a lot. And the way I'd probably bet this game is I'd probably make 2 parlays. One, a game of parlays that I really like, that I feel comfortable with. And then I'd probably make an extra parlay with those games and the Orioles winning. And I wouldn't have to bet a lot on that game because it's just going to be a great multiplier. So, if you have 2 games you really like today and you tack on the Orioles and you make a $10 bet on that, probably going to pay around $100. So that's the way I'd use a game like this. That way, if it doesn't come through, you didn't break the bank. Gibson, let's see. If only he was on the mound yesterday, he would have made that Minnesota game so easy. They pulled him. I did a typo here. He's 6-2 on the season. He's 6-2 like Minneapolis is 62. Let me see. The Tigers have a chance at their 11th home win in their 31st game. Again, that hasn't been real consistent, just documenting it. I'm still wondering if the Twins could sweep this series. We talked about this yesterday. If the Twins sweep, they get to 44 wins. Detroit's 44. The Tigers are 2-5 versus the Twins this year. If they lost today, they'd be 2-6 on the 26th date. Tomorrow will be the 27th date. If they lost tomorrow, they'd be 2-7. Caller?
Hey, Zach. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
I was wondering if you've heard of the Kawhi interview where he was talking about Boardman gets paid.
How's it go? What's he say?
So the interviewer was talking to him, and they were saying that when he was in high school, he had this catchphrase that said, Boardman gets paid.
Boardman gets paid.
Yeah, and it equals 68, just like his father's name, and just like
his name.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And
wait, hold on though. When you spell board, is it like a game board or like somebody who's like bored, like they want to have some fun?
Like game board, B-O-A-R-D.
Okay,
board.
okay.
And Boardman alone equals 68. And then if you type in the Boardman gets paid, I can't remember what it is, but there's something that stands out there too. It equals 83. That's what it is. And I'm pretty sure I wrote this down earlier. I can't remember where I had it. But yeah, I thought that was a weird interview to bring up because apparently he doesn't say it anymore in the NBA. And the interviewer was asking him why he doesn't say it anymore. But I never heard him say it. And now for like the playoffs, like I see that Bleacher Report, they're posting photos and like his new nickname's the Boardman, and they're trying to bring this catchphrase back. So I don't know if there's something deeper behind that, but at the same time, I felt as if that wasn't exactly a coincidence.
Well, that's been the magic number for him. He was the MVP in the 68th NBA season on Father's Day, and his dad's name equals 68 too. I'd never heard of that before, but it seems like somebody probably from a young age told him to say that line. So
yeah, he said he was saying it to try and get the attention of NBA scouts. But once he was in college, he didn't really say it. Like, he didn't want to say it anymore because he didn't want attention or something.
Okay. There's an article up from 2 days ago that he explains his board man gets paid trash talk. Well,
I was talking to one of my roommates about it, and he was saying, well, like, what do you think he means by that? Do you think he means like someone grabbing rebounds, someone grabbing boards? Or do you think he means like a board man, like an executive?
exactly. So it could be a couple of ways. I was thinking about the same thing. So, So that he was asked about that after Game 3. So that's the game the Raptors went up 2-1 in Oakland. Okay. So he responded to that question. I used to say that back when I was in high school and college, just wondering to get to this league. It's about working hard, outwork. So I bet you it has to do with rebounds because a lot of people, lazy basketball players, don't work hard on the rebounds or defense. Yeah, it's about working hard, outworking an opponent. Rebounds help you win games. Big rebounds, offensive rebounds, limiting the team to one shot. That used to be our motto. Some of us in college who were trying to get to this point. So yeah, it's about getting those rebounds. So it's like a hustle statement. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I had to mention that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, one more 68. That's what we were talking about yesterday. So yeah, good observation. All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, take care.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So the ironic thing for me is I've always thought that Kawhi Leonard, even though the league's rigged, I've always thought that he actually could be the best player in the league. So, and I have always kind of liked him too because he doesn't talk a lot in the media. I prefer these athletes who don't talk big and aren't flashy. So, but man, I've been thinking all year that still, and I'm still thinking it until the Warriors are eliminated. I'm still have the same thought. I mean, the Warriors are the 73 team. So, and just also three-peat like Jordan. They already eclipsed one of Jordan's records. This season began with the Patriots. Tom Brady doing the Jordan thing. Number 26 has the same birthday as Jordan. So people thought the Patriots were done for this year too. So the Warriors are kind of in the same spot right now. I'm guessing the money will probably be, well, we'll see what happens. I'm guessing there'll be more money on Toronto. Game 5. And there is a chance it gets closed out there, but man, a lot more still lines up for Game 7. So Warriors winning 3 straight to win 3 straight finals isn't out of the question. Again, they had that done to them not long ago. Kevin Durant was on that Thunder team when the Warriors came back from down 3-1. And I still remember that year. I was getting so much trolling when the Warriors were down and when the Cavs were down. Because that year I had the Cavs beating the Warriors. So, seen this before. Seen it all before. Okay, back to the baseball. I'm thinking the most likely narrative here again for the Twins is to sweep this series, get to those 44 wins in Detroit. The team head-to-head win-loss records would follow the pattern. So I guess the only thing I could see going against Gibson is if he lost, he'd get his 64th career loss. Michigan's 64. They don't call them the Michigan Tigers, but it is Michigan, or Detroit is. Something I could do real quick is, or wait, did I have it up here? Maybe I already had it up here. Oh yeah, he's 8-8 versus Detroit for his career. So I guess the only thing really for the Tigers is getting that 11th home win in the 31st game, but I haven't seen any real consistency with that pattern, so I can't put a lot of weight on it. Sabathia is pitching against his old team today for the Yankees Indians, and I noticed today that if he won, he'd become 5-3 versus the Indians on the 53 day. Thought that was interesting. The Indians, what they got going for them is they could get their 33rd win on this 33-date numerology, plus New York equals 33. So does Cleveland. So there's that. Then again, if the Indians were to lose 2 straight, they'd end up on 33 losses versus New York. And they'd be 3-7 versus the Yankees this year. Yankees is 37. Right now, the Indians are 3-5 versus the Yankees. So the other thing that could go against the Yankees today is picking up that 16th home loss on the 53 date, 53 the 16th prime. So I can't say that I'm thrilled about this narrative just because the most straightforward thing is the Indians getting that 33rd win. Cleveland and New York 33, the date's 33. I mean, it's right there. But just looking at CC's record versus old team, so sometimes a riddle like that trumps the date numerology, but date numerology is still king. So I'd lean Indians, but Yankees got a shot, so I can't put that in a group of games that I like. Pirates, talked about this yesterday. They'll probably lose yesterday. They'll probably lose today, picking up their 33rd loss on the 33 date. Milwaukee gets that win. They're at 37. Milwaukee is 37. The one thing going for the Pirates today is Lyles could get his 37th career win versus Milwaukee. He's 5-3. Oops, I think I did a typo. I think I meant to say, oh, wait, never mind. He's 5-3 with Pittsburgh on this 53 date coming into the game. Caller?
I just want to point out one quick thing. So with the Sabathia record, he could go for career loss 156. 33 equals 156.
This is true.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, that's absolutely true for one more 33. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so yeah, to add on to the 33 list, he is right. If Sabathia loses, it's his 156th loss. I'll make that note here. Sabathia equals 155. So it's interesting he's at that facing his old team where he started. Okay. So Lyles for the Pirates could get his 37th win today against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 37. That's there. Davies for the Brewers. He could also get his 26th loss on a 26 date numerology. So that's there. But the Pirates picking up that 33rd loss on the 33rd date. Again, the date numerology typically trumps the pitcher records. When there is a pitcher narrative on both sides, though, it's a little bit concerning. And you know what I overlooked this morning? I'm actually now seeing that the Pirates pitcher, number 31, he could get his team the 31st win. I overlooked that. Hold on. That's actually important because that's been happening a lot. Okay. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that pitcher jersey number has been a pretty good one. That just now caught my eye. It's been there the whole time. Pirates would be a decent payout today, that's for sure. I do worry a bit about picking up that 33rd loss on the 33 date, but yeah, 37th win versus Milwaukee, 26th loss on the 26th date. That would work out perfectly for the pitchers if it went that way. And that jersey number 31, that just kind of nudged me. The jersey number has been hitting at a pretty high ratio since we've been tracking it. Pirates might be worth a stab, actually. It very well might be. Okay. Yeah, if I was going to bet that game, I'd take the Pirates. They're definitely the better payout, but just beware of that 33 right there. It still could be the riddle, but now that I see the pitcher jersey number, can't ignore it. Okay, Braves and Marlins. Actually, I know I didn't quite. All right, hold on. I want to do something real quick. About that Pirates and Braves game. Let's see here. I want to see what his splits are versus Milwaukee. He's 3-4 versus Milwaukee. Means Milwaukee could become 5-3 versus him on the 53 date. All right. He could also become 4-4. Wisconsin's 44. All right. And Zach Davies, let me check his too. He's 3-5 versus the Pirate. 3-5 versus Pirates. Brewers is 45, but usually these records have more to do with the opponent name. Brewers also 36. Let me check that. I think it is 36 and 45. Okay. Yeah, here. I want to check. David Price is going against his old team today, too. That's kind of interesting that the Yankees and the Red Sox both have some of their better pitchers going against their old teams today. They just pitched against each other last week, too, Price and Sabathia. All right, this guy's 7-6 versus the Marlins. Marlins is 86. Marlins is 86. 7-6 versus Marlins. Marlins equals 86. So if Tehran got the win, he'd be 8-6 versus them. He also wears the number 49, and Marlins is 49. Let's make a note about that here. Let me see this guy too. Trevor Richards, Braves. He's got 2 starts, no decisions. First Braves and 2 starts. So I know the gentleman called in earlier, and he liked the Marlins to get it done today. They do have the one narrative of becoming 2-6 versus the Braves on the 26th date, but they have a couple concerns. Again, they could stay on 11 wins in 31 home games. That has not been a consistent pattern. But at the same time, become the head-to-head records with the date numerology nowhere near as consistent as, say, like picking up the 26th win on a 26th date. Becoming 2-6 is nothing like picking up number 26 in terms of consistency. But if the Marlins did win, it's still there. They could become 2-6 and stay at 260 losses. Tehran, though, becoming 8-6 against the Marlins. That is definitely not out of the question. So let me check the name of their stadium real quick. Marlins Park. So can't say I'm thrilled about that game. It would be nice if the Marlins were the winning team because they pay better, but there's some red flags there with the Braves. All right. Again, this Red Sox doubleheader, I really think whoever wins the first game will win the second. They still haven't put in who the Rays pitcher is yet. So keep an eye on that. One note I could say about Price is if he did win today, Tampa Bay Rays is 43. He could get his 43rd win today. It's possible. His next loss is 22. Boston's 22. He's pitching in Boston today. The Rockies and the Mets have the same scenario as yesterday. It's the date numerology, both teams on the win and loss total. Yesterday they didn't stick, but I've seen this pattern a number of times. It seems often when teams do this. Caller?
What's up, Zach? What's going on, man?
Hey.
So, man, kicking myself in the ass about that Rockies game because I had it pegged after that game against the Cubs that they would sweep the Mets. Then all of a sudden the numbers with DeGrom and Santella, as soon as DeGrom could get that loss, I was like, oh, shit, it's over. So I think the Rockies are going to sweep them for that 35.
Okay, because Rockies does equal 35. The
And
Cubs,
also,
the Cubs came up one short on that riddle, didn't they? Though.
yeah, what happened was how did I peg it? Because originally I thought the Rockies would win 2 out of 3. Then they switched things up. So then once the Rockies won that last game, before they won the last game, the numbers added up for them to win that game because of Quintana equals 70. His loss was 73, and the Colorado Rockies equals 73. And then they switched the pitcher. So as soon as they did that, I said, okay, they're going to win that game. And then that lines up perfectly for the sweep of the Mets because of the 35 issue.
Okay.
And then if you look at the pitchers today with John Gray and Steven Matz, if you look at once you run their Gematria, if I'm not mistaken, it adds up with regards to the numbers, the wins and losses, both record-wise and home away. So I think Rockies look pretty good here for the sweep.
Okay, if the Rockies do win today, they will get their 16th away win on this 53-date numerology, 53 the 16th prime. It would also be their 16th away win in the 33rd away game when you write out 16 as 33. I was talking about at the beginning of this live stream that so many times this year when we've decoded a pitcher name and there's been like this great alignment, it hasn't come through, just like yesterday with the Rockies and Mets game. So
it's true. No, that's very true. But it's a telling sign, though, because as an example, like yesterday, everything was set up for DeGrom to win the game and for the other guy, Senzatella, to lose it. So once they came off that narrative, it only made sense for the other one. But the Rockies, it seems like, should sweep the Mets for the 35.
I do see what you're saying. Yeah, the Mets get to 35 losses versus the Rockies. The only thing that worries me is it's just like it's the same scenario as yesterday. The Rockies were on 32 wins yesterday. The Mets were on 32 losses. It was a 32 date. It had the Mets won, they both would have stayed on that 32. It seems that a lot of times when a series starts that way, the teams don't stay. Just like what happened yesterday with the Rockies. They won and they advanced to 33. The Mets got the 33rd loss. But then it seems that the next day, then the opposite team wins. And then it sets up the chance at the date numerology for the third game. I've seen that play out a number of times this year. So
the thing is also to keep in mind that today's 33, right? So if they win, they go into tomorrow with 34. They win tomorrow, they go into 35. Then I believe their next game is the 10th. So the 10th is what, 36? Or am I wrong about that?
The date numerology?
Yes.
It would be 6 plus 10 plus 19 would be 35.
35. Okay, so then they walk in with it. Then they'll walk in with their number against the Cubs. 35 victories.
Yeah, that is possible. That's very possible. So if they didn't pick up that 35th though, they'd do the exact same thing that the Cubs did against the Rockies. They'd stop at 34, and then I think they'd get the 35 on the 35 date. So
that's possibility too. No, that's possible. But I was just that is definitely possible. I just how I got them originally beforehand going into this series.
Yeah, you had that initial thought, man. So if that's the gut feeling, go with it, because oftentimes the gut's right. It's just the flip side of the coin is if the Mets won the next 2 games, the Rockies would stay on 33 wins in New York. That's also a New York number is 33. But the Rockies do have the riddle today. They can get that 16th away win on the 53 date. We've seen a lot of those prime numbers connect, so it's there.
Who's pitching tomorrow, do you know?
Who's pitching tomorrow? Here, let's look.
Okay.
Let's look at who's pitching tomorrow. Tomorrow is Jeff Hoffman and Noah Syndergaard.
Oh, it's going to be a huge line. Forget about it. That's going to be a huge line. They're going to be like minus 180 probably. Let's see. Jeff Hoffman, right?
Yeah, Hoffman and Syndergaard. Let me see what Syndergaard's stats are. Syndergaard could potentially pick up his 27th loss tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have 27-date numerology.
Jeff also equals 27. I'm running the Gematria with the names as you're doing your thing there.
Okay, so that's something that could go against Syndergaard tomorrow about this sweep narrative that you're seeing. Hoffman is 7-11. So Mets is 12. If he picked up his loss, he'd get his 12th loss against the Mets. Yeah, I'll make that tricky, but the date numerology usually plays better. So, Well, you're gonna have to go with your guns on that one because I mean there are arguments both ways, but I hear you on the 35 thing. So.
Yeah, we'll see. But that's what I got, Zach.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, welcome.
Okay.
Thanks. All right, let me add that to the notes here real quick. Just people want to debate on that. If Rockies sweep, where'd we go? Let's put it up here on the screen. Mets get 35 losses. Rockies equals 35. If Mets win next 2, Rockies stay on 33 wins. New York 33. So if only there was a 57 hanging out there. That's always the big indicator with the Mets. Today would be a fitting day, though, for the Rockies to get that 16th away win. It does go with the date numerology, so it's there. No great clues with the pitchers. The Dodgers and the Giants. Today's the 26th date numerology. I was thinking the Giants would have a great narrative to win today, but they got it yesterday. So that burned me. I didn't advise betting the Dodgers yesterday. I was just hoping the Giants would lose because it would set up a line just like this with the Giants with a good shot to win. So, again, the Dodgers aren't going to be a good payout. And I'd wait and see on this game. I do think the Giants will probably lose today. And then that should set up tomorrow, if I'm right, a great chance for the Giants to win tomorrow, and they should have another good line tomorrow. So, you know what? I'll make one note about this game that could go in favor of the Giants today. If they won today, I'd be annoyed because I'd be like, man, it's not going to set up the narrative. But the game's on Fox. Fox equals 18. Baseball equals 18. Dodgers could stay on 18 wins. Giants could stay on 18 losses. It's about the only thing I see that's favorable for the Giants today. But I do like the possibility of the Giants losing one in this series because Los Angeles is 37. And I was really hoping they were going to lose yesterday because then I was thinking they'd have a good chance to win today and tomorrow. So I'm thinking they are going to split one of the next 2, but there's no great indicator for today's game other than the Giants potentially staying on 26 wins on the 26th day. One other thing I noticed is if the Giants did lose 2 straight, they'd stay on 11 home wins in the 31st game, but that hasn't been consistent or hasn't been consistent at all. So I'm just documenting it just in case it does start becoming consistent. Yeah. I don't think the Giants are worth the risk today, but if they do lose, I think they'll definitely be worth the risk tomorrow. Because tomorrow they could pick up the 27th win on the 27-day and stay on 37 losses against Los Angeles. Los Angeles 37. Okay. Cardinals and Cubs. Somebody called in earlier. They really liked the Cubs to win today. And I believe that's what they liked. Yeah, they really liked the Cubs to win today and the Red Sox to lose. And they were seeing that through John Lester, who used to be with the Red Sox. So the one key riddle for the Cardinals is their pitcher. The Cardinals are actually a favorite today at Chicago, which is interesting. Their pitcher could become 5-3. And you know what? Let me actually... I'm going to go back and review a couple things here with the Dodgers and Giants game before we move on. I just want to see if there's some other reason to believe in the Giants today, just because it would be a good one. All right, the Giants. All right, he's 7-2 versus the Giants. Am I making this? I think Los Angeles Dodgers is 73. Los Angeles Dodgers is 73. Okay. Let me see about that. Hill is 7-2 versus Giants. Los Angeles Dodgers 73. And how about this guy? Oh, wow. I overlooked that. His next win is 73. Hold on. I was overlooking some things here. Maybe they can pick it up today. Let me see. His splits. Dodgers. 1-4 versus the Dodgers in 7 starts. 10th game today. 1-4 versus Dodgers. Oh. Yeah, it's not a great clue. Oh, you know what? There was something I was sleeping on right here. Okay, let me talk about the Dodgers and Giants game one more time. The Giants would be a great payout today. If they won today, I'm all but certain they would lose tomorrow. So, and if they lost today, I would really like them tomorrow. But giving this a second look, seeing that Hill is 7-2 versus the Giants, Los Angeles Dodgers does equal 73. He could fall to 7-3 as a pitcher for the Dodgers. And then the pitcher for the Giants could get his 73rd win today over the Dodgers. Fitting team to get the 73rd win against. And then the Giants are 4-3 versus the Dodgers this year. They've played well at home. It's a 53 day. Los Angeles is 53. And LA is 41. If they won today, they'd be 4-1 at home. So they've done well at home against the Dodgers this year. So maybe the Dodgers have the Giants number at home. So there's actually some reason to believe in the Giants. And again, the game is on Fox. The teams could stay on 18 and their away and home records if the Giants won. That'd be the Giants' 12th home win. Los Angeles 37, the 12th prime. And I do see them exiting this series with one loss at this point. Los Angeles is 37. So maybe the Giants actually are worth a go today. They are a good payout, and they actually have a halfway decent riddle. There's no guarantee they'll stay on that 26 on the 26th date. Again, staying on a number is not consistent. Picking it up is. That's why I wanted to see the Giants lose yesterday, but they got a riddle, no doubt about it. Okay, Cubs are an underdog at home, which is very interesting against the Cardinals. The big riddle for the Cardinals is their pitcher becoming 5-3 on the 53 date. And I should check. Let me check both these guys' splits against each other, too. This game's also on Fox. The 18 could go against the Cardinals here. They could pick up their 18th away loss. Oops. Let's see. Get it here. Let me see. 1-2 versus the Cubs. 5 starts. This will be his 6th start. Okay. All right. And John Lester versus the Cardinals. Let's see that real quick too. Seven and 5 versus the Cardinals. And it's going to be his 31st start, 11th prime. Or no, I'm counting wrong. It's going to be his 19th start. Whoops. So he has 18 so far. So it's his 19th start today, Lester, the 8th prime. So in his 19th start, he can get the 8th win. So Patrick Corbin had something like that earlier this week with the Nationals. I think he was going for the 6th win and in the 13th start. He didn't get it, so I can't say that that's any type of guarantee, but it is a riddle that's up on the board. And if the Cubs did win today, they would be 5-3 versus the Cardinals. I have a feeling that the money on this game is going to go heavy on the Cubs as an underdog at home. So I do worry about that because the line seems like it's bait. So there's still a lot of bets that are probably going to come in. It's early in the day. But yeah, so far the money's real heavy on the Cubbies. And again, that line, it really does look like bait. So kind of don't want to be the big fish that gets caught today. Yeah, it's probably if the Cubs split the next two, they'll be at 36 wins on the season. Cardinals is 36. The line just doesn't feel right to me. So I'd see the way I would pay attention to the way that money goes. I think that they do play with these games. If the money gets too heavy on one side, you can do that in any type of series. So both teams got a riddle. That's the problem. Only takes one riddle. Cubs got more riddles, I would say, but Cardinals got that one with their pitcher, 5-3. Okay, A's and Rangers. Again, the thought was that if the Rangers win the first game, I like the Athletics to win the second. If the Athletics win the first game, I would say all bets are off. The reason why is because both teams could be at 33 wins today on the 33 date. But if the Athletics take the first game, then they also have a chance of becoming 16-16 away. And today has that 53 date numerology, the 16th prime. So it's tough. Looking at the next pitcher up for the Athletics, if he won today, he would be 4-1 on the season. Oakland is 41, big number with that team. So it's tricky. Let me actually just look at what his stats are versus the Rangers. He's got enough starts to maybe have some sort of pattern that stands out. So this will be his 3rd start. He's 1-1. Yeah, it's not a great clue. Also for the Rangers pitcher, though, well, yeah. I'd be the one thing that would really surprise me today is if the Rangers won both games. I am just seeing that if the A's won the first game, the Rangers still would have a chance at making it 33-33. And this guy right here could become 5-3 on the 53 date, so that stands out. The Rangers are 1-5 versus the A's this year. If they lost the first game, they'd be 1-6, kind of like 16, the 53rd prime. Actually, yeah, now that I'm looking at this more and more, if the Rangers split today, they would be 2-6 on 26 date. So, yeah, there's yeah, this doubleheader's trickier than some. We've done well with doubleheaders this year, but this one's dicey. I don't like this one. Okay. Caller called in earlier today. He liked the Padres. He thought that they were a great pick. They were one of his 2 favorite games. Padres have done well so far this week against Nationals, and Nationals have seemingly had the better riddles both games. What stands out to me is Scherzer. 163, 38th prime. San Diego equals 38. So this would be a good team for him to get his 163rd win against. That worries me a bit. Padres could stay at 33 wins on the 33 date. And do these teams play one more game against each other tomorrow? I think they do. If the Padres drop the next 2, they would become 33 and 33 versus the Nationals. Nationals is 33. San Diego Padres is 137, the 33rd prime. So it would be fitting for them to be 33 and 33 versus the Nationals. So for the man who really likes the Padres today, I mean, I'm not having a good week. So by all means, stick to your guns. I'm just telling you that 33 and 33 sticks out. If Padres lost 2 straight, they would be 33 and 33. Nationals equals 33. San Diego Padres equals 137. I think Padres has the Gematria of 36 as well. That's another thing that could go against Scherzer today. Scherzer loses, he's 3-6. Okay. And then here's the Mariners, and you just never know what they're going to do. Seems like when things line up, they don't come through. You know, the other day when they beat the Astros good, they did make the Astros 5-1 against the Mariners on the season. And again, Houston Astros is 51. So that riddle actually made sense. And it was also the 119th game all time between the 2 teams. Mariners is 119. So things did line up for the Mariners, and they did take advantage of it. But that's about 1 game out of the last 4 where they had good alignment and came through. The Angels, they're 4-7 versus the Mariners this year. And they're 1-4 at home. Let's see. If they split the next 2, they would be 5-8 at home. And that's a big number with the Angels. Angels is 58. So that might be the thing to do with these remaining 2 games. Whoever wins today will probably lose tomorrow. I do see the 5-8 coming through for the Angels. So I'd probably personally wait this one out, and then tomorrow I'd feel good to take a stab at it. Caller for a couple of weeks has been saying he sees the Mariners getting to a record of 28-43, which is possible. The reason he's been saying that is because Seattle equals 28 and Mariners equals 43. It's their 43rd season. If the Mariners did lose today, they would go into tomorrow, the 27 date, still on 27 wins. And if they do just lose 1 more, they get to 41 losses. LA's 41. So I'd probably give the Angels the edge today, but the one thing I'd be worried about is them staying on 16 home wins in their 53rd game. So I do like them splitting the next 2 games. If Mariners lose today, they go into tomorrow, 27 date, with 27 wins. Okay. So the Rays are up big on the Red Sox, and that's not surprising me. I mean, there's still a lot of game left, but I have been saying that since yesterday, the Rays getting to 23-9 makes sense to me. If the Rays do win today, I do believe they'll win the second one. A's and Rangers doubleheader is very dicey. Yeah. And also the Rangers, they just haven't been, their riddles haven't been coming through lately. So it's not a series that I really want to mess with. I do think the White Sox have the edge today, just to recap it. Keller, he could become 3-3 versus the White Sox on this 33 date. And the White Sox can stay at 33 losses. So what else was there? Oh, the White Sox with a win today would be 7-4 versus the Royals, and Chicago White Sox is 74. So give them the edge there. I do like the Diamondbacks today. If they win today, I think they have a very strong chance to sweep tomorrow. The one concern is that Sanchez can get his 33rd win on the 33rd date. That's the pitcher for the Blue Jays, but he can also get his 26th loss on the 26th date. Even with that concern, I still like the Diamondbacks. They got a whole lot more lining up for them. Reds and Phillies. Rourke can become... Oh, I wrote the wrong thing here. That's not what I meant to write. Rourke is number 35. The Reds can get their 35th loss with him on the mound. Pivetta, he could get his 26th loss on the 26th date, but he could also get his 19th win against the Reds. Reds 19. And this the master numerology, 22-11 in the 33rd game. That was perfect yesterday. So I think that trend could continue. I lean Phillies here. I think they got the better riddle. If they lose one game in this series, they'll pick up their 28th loss. Reds is 28. So perhaps the Phillies win today and lose tomorrow. We'll look at that more. If the Phillies do, notice that the Phillies win today, they go into the 27 date tomorrow, still on 27 losses. So one more reason to believe in the Phillies. The Orioles are definitely a risky pick. They're a major underdog. They're in that territory where the line often doesn't come through, but in this past week, that was the one thing about earlier in this week. We did hit some big payouts, so those were the week started off decent, but it's been pretty mediocre since. If the Astros lose, though, today, they're 23-9, that prime number relationship. And just with that on the board, I think the Orioles are worth a risk. What could go against the Orioles today is they could become 11-22 in their 33rd away game. That was a perfect pattern yesterday, the 11-22 in the 33rd home or away game, respectively. And it's a pattern that it just shows up in sports a lot, those master numbers when they line up. Also, Cashner, where's he at? He could become 3-8 versus the Astros today. Astros does equal 38, but then again, he could get his 53rd career win on this 53 date, and he could stay at 81 losses for his career on the 81st day of the MLB season. So the Astros are 30-20 versus the Orioles. That means their next win's 31. Houston's 31. Doesn't have to come today. But Orioles, based on the payout, again, what I said earlier is if there's a couple games you want to put together in a parlay, I would just do a parlay with those games, and then I would add on another ticket with that parlay and the Orioles winning. And I wouldn't bet a lot on it, but again, if you have a two-team decent parlay and the Orioles hit, $10 could turn into close to 100. So that's the way I'd play the Orioles today. You have to bet a lot to make a lot, and then if you lose on it, which there's a strong chance you will, because the Astros do have some riddles, you don't have to feel too bad about it. So Twins and Tigers, Twins got a narrative to sweep. Could just follow right through the date numerology. If the Twins sweep, they get to 44 wins. Detroit's 44. And if they do sweep, the Tigers would become 2-6 on the 26th date versus the Twins. Then they would become 2-7 tomorrow on the 27 date. So the one thing that I do notice about the Tigers right now is they have 487 home losses versus the Twins. That's the 93rd prime. It's not a number that connects to Detroit, but it's a number that connects to Minneapolis on the 93rd meridian, and Minneapolis, Minnesota's 93. They're not going to be on that forever. It seems like a symbolic number, so just wanted to note it. But Twins right now, they're looking pretty decent for the sweep. It is the Tigers' 31st home game, and they could get their 11th win. 31 is the 11th prime. I haven't seen great consistency with that pattern, so I don't put a lot of weight on it. The Twins aren't a good payout today, so I wouldn't bet them. If you wanted to take a risk on the Tigers with the 11-31 thing, personally, I'd be more inclined to bet that just because it would be a good payout. But again, I wouldn't bet a lot on it. I just put a little fun money down on it. But Twins do have a real narrative to sweep, so just be aware of that. Tigers won Prayer's 11th home win in the 31st game. Yankees and Indians, Sabathia facing his old team. If he did win today, he'd become 5-3 versus the Indians on a 53-day. He's 3-2 on the season, though. Let me get this out of here. So if he loses, he would be, I should have 33-day written up here as well. If he did lose, he would become 3-3. Cleveland's 33, New York's 33, the date's 33. He'd pick up his 156th loss. When you write out 33, it equals 156. So there are quite a few things. A lot could line up with the 33 if the Indians win. The Indians would also get their 33rd win of the season. Get New York and Cleveland's 33 plus the date. On the flip side, if the Indians lost 2 straight, they would be 3-7 versus the Yankees this year, and Yankees is 37. It's one other thing to consider. But it does look that the 33 stacks, and that's probably where the riddle's at. I just worry about CC, though, getting it done against his old team, becoming 5-3 on the 53-day, but it's hard to overlook all the 33s that line up on the board. And I should note that 33 equals 66. Plutko could become 6-6 on 33-day. So Indians got the better narrative. CC the one concern. Pirates and Brewers. Pirates would be another great payout today. They're a pretty substantial underdog. Caller.
Hey, Zach.
What's up, man?
So with that Yankees game, they are playing their 31st away game, and they're already on 11 losses.
Wait. No, today's the 30th.
Oh, is it the 30th?
So if they won 2 in a row, though, they could stay on the 11 away losses.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe they could win the next 2.
That's what I was talking about from the beginning of the series, that possibility, and then the Indians fall into 3-7. So yeah, it's there. It's there. Today is the 30th game, though.
Yeah, a lot of these games today are tricky, man, and I don't know. It seems like the ones that are clear-cut reads are not really good payouts, and then the ones that are really good payouts are really hard to determine who's going to win the game. It's like, I don't know. Today's probably going to be a day where I'm going to stay away from betting a lot of these games.
Sure. It's a day that if you bet on these risky teams, I wouldn't put a lot down on it. I'd try to put together a clever parlay that could turn into some coin. But
yeah. And usually when there's series like this where it's not really clear reads on the second day, what I do is I look into who the teams are going to play in the next series, and then I can determine what the record might be in that last game of the series.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to go.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Bye.
So, yeah, that was something we were talking about before the series began, why the Yankees might take 2 out of 3. If they won the next 2, they'd be 20-11. They'd stay at 11 away losses in the 31st game. But at the same time, we haven't seen a consistent pattern with the total count of home and away games and the prime number relationship. So it seems to be close to 50-50. But the reason I continue to look at it is we just might find that a certain pattern with a certain read like that where it just keeps coming through, and then we can chalk that up for other games. That's the reason you still want to document and observe, even though you know, it hasn't been a great indicator so far. So I will write that up here. If Yankees win 2 straight, they'll stay on 11 losses through 31 away games. New York is the 11th state. But that 33 is the one that's landing all over the place in this game. Okay, so the Pirates, they're another risk reward play today, but Jordan Lyles, which I missed this morning when I did my initial decode, he wears the number 31, and he could help the Pirates get their 31st win. We've seen a lot of these jersey number riddles come through. He would also get his 37th career win. Milwaukee equals 37. He'd stay at 55 losses. Wisconsin equals 55. His record could be 37 and 55, which would read Milwaukee, Wisconsin in numbers to letters. Davies for the Brewers, if he loses today, he gets his 26th loss on the 26th date. He's 3-5 versus the Pirates. Brewers equals 36 and 45. That could go either way. The one thing that's right on the surface that can go against the Pirates is they could get their 33rd loss today on the 33-date numerology. So got to consider that. And I just saw that the Pirates are 1-4 versus the Brewers this year. If they lost, they'd be 1-5, kind of like 15. Pirates is 47, the 15th prime. But that jersey number, it's been a good one. If you've just been betting, since we started tracking this, if you've been betting on the jersey numbers that go with the assigned wins and losses, you're definitely very much in the plus territory. So I think there's only been one game so far that hasn't come through, but we have only been tracking it for so many days. So Pirates got a narrative, no doubt about it. They do. The one concern, that 33. Okay. Braves and Marlins. Again, we had the caller, and caller really liked the Marlins today. And, you know, if he's feeling it, you're out there listening. I mean, don't let me take you off it. I haven't been, I've been far from impressive this week. If you've gone against me, you've probably done just about as well as I have. So the Braves, what I worry about with the Marlins is if the Braves win today, the pitcher for the Braves, he becomes 8-6 versus the Marlins, and Marlins is 86. And he wears the number 49. Marlins is also 49, so thinking that could be the case. That said, if the Marlins beat him today, he would become 3-5 on the season, the reflection of 53. We do have a 53-date numerology. The Marlins could also stay on 11 home losses. Or no. I'm speaking backwards. The Marlins could stay on 11 home wins in their 31st game if they lost. But again, there's not consistency there. I'm not putting a lot of weight. I'm just documenting it. If, for example, at the end of today, we realized that every team that had the 11-31 thing, if those all hit today, we'll be like, okay, maybe the 11-31 is where this is starting to play. Because just up to this point in the season, it hasn't been real consistent, the total count of games and the prime number relationship. But there might be a point where it turns on with a certain number. So that's what we're waiting to see. And their teams are just now getting to this point. So there's going to be more games like this. The Marlins, the one thing that could go for them today is they could become 2-6 versus the Braves this year on the 26th day. So that's what the caller liked earlier. He liked that 2-6. He saw that they were a decent payout. Atlanta's, you know, decent favorite. But there's definitely some red flags here. So, okay, again, that caller.
Hey, Zach, you had the Marlins pegged yesterday to win, right?
I thought the Marlins had a good narrative yesterday, and they didn't get it done.
Yeah, so you think maybe they get it done today? Because I like the Marlins today.
Yesterday, they could have become 2-5 versus the Braves on the 25 date. Today, they have a chance to become 2-6 on the 26 date. So it's kind of the same thing. Let me go back and look at yesterday's notes, because I know that yesterday the Marlins had something else going on, and I don't think they had quite as much going against them. They could win today, but yeah, I know that yesterday things were a little bit better. So
yeah, okay. I like the Marlins today because Richards is one of their best pitchers, and you know, that riddle yesterday did not come in for the Marlins, but I think that 11-31 actually works out pretty good today for them.
Well, if the 11-31 came through, they would lose.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Huh?
They'd stay on 11 home wins if it came through for them. So yesterday, part of the other thing I was looking at for them yesterday is Marlins. They have the M on their hat, which is the 13th letter. They would have been 1-3 at home. They would have been 2-5 on the 25 date. And the Marlins were on 37 losses yesterday, so I thought they might stay there because Atlanta Braves is 37. Atlanta Braves is also 89, the 24th prime, so they could have become 24 and 37 yesterday. I liked their riddle better yesterday.
Yeah.
So because they burned me yesterday, I'm just, I'm kind of scorned. And yesterday I couldn't make an argument for the Braves pitcher. However, the Braves did have their ace on the mound yesterday. So, I mean, that was there. Numbers aside, he's their ace. So in terms of the pitcher matchup, not looking at the numbers, I mean, the Marlins do have a shot. They'd be a decent payout. They could become 2-6 on the 26th date. Sometimes it just takes one riddle, but there's some red flags today in the game. So
yeah, but actually now looking at that, staying on that 11th win, I don't know, but that 11-31 really hasn't been hitting, huh?
Well, we haven't documented a whole lot yet with the 11-31, but it's just been that whole thing about the total count of games and the prime number relationship for home and away records hasn't been hitting. So
yeah. Well, I've noticed that the 10 and 29s haven't been hitting. The 19 and 8s have not been hitting. Maybe the 11 and 31s don't hit either. And what I have noticed about those though is the next game after
they pick it up.
Win. Yeah, they pick it up. So maybe they go the Braves go 2-1 in this series. They win today, lose tomorrow. That would put them at 35 and 30.
It's possible. It's possible. But I can't say that, to me, this isn't a great pick. I know somebody else felt really good about the Marlins today, and maybe they're right. But to me, it's just looking at them, it's like, it looks like a roll of the dice to me on this game. So
yeah, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. It's that none of these games are really that strong for reads for me, I think.
Right. And here's the other thing I want to say for people listening. We haven't had the greatest week, so maybe this week you've lost. It's possible. So I know some of you are up, but it's very possible that based on the picks I've given you this week, you could be down. If you've been following me for a month, you should be up for the month. Have patience. If you're hungry to win it back because you lost some this week, just wait. It's going to get hot again, and then those are going to be the days where you win. So, I mean, don't get in the mindset where you got to win every day. You got to get back yesterday's today. Just wait. Pick your punches. A boxer can lose the first 5 rounds and come back and win the fight in a big way. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I live down here in the Bay Area too, and I'm a Giants fan, and I bet against the Giants last night, and the Dodgers to win, and they beat the Dodgers, and I was just like, oh man! And you know what the crazy thing is? They always beat the Dodgers on or Orange Friday. That's what they call it. The first Friday of the series, and it's a home game. They call it Orange Friday.
Huh? That's a good thing to know, though. That's a good thing to know. Orange Friday. Okay.
Yeah, man. So, I felt really stupid watching the game last night. I'm like, oh, my God, they're going to beat the Dodgers.
Okay. Yeah, that's a reminder. There's other riddles out there that definitely matter. So, Orange Friday. And I'm sure every baseball team probably has something like that you know about if you're a local person. So.
Yeah.
All right,
man. I'll continue watching.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
Orange Friday. I just got to see what that equals for kicks. Orange Friday. Huh. I don't know if those numbers were on the board yesterday. Orange Friday. Okay, so again, there's still a lot of game left here. Well, the Rays are getting up more and more, but looks like the Red Sox will probably put up at least a run here. But again, whoever wins that first game should win the second. We were learning Rays, so maybe you're winning on that right now. Hold on, where did I go with my notes? I got to get my notes back where I was. Hold on, where'd the notes go? Okay, so just to about that Red Sox and Rays doubleheader, if the Rays do win the first one, I am going to like them to win the second. But if they do win the first game, just one thing to be mindful of is Price, his next career win is 43. And Tampa Bay Rays is 43. So there's still a lot of game. The Red Sox could rally and win it, but I do favor whoever wins the first to win the second because of the way the numbers play out. Again, if one team wins both games today, they're going to be 5-3 versus the opponent on the 53 date. Boston Red Sox equals 53. And if the Red Sox did end up winning both today, they'd be at 16 home wins on the 53 date. So if the Rays win both, they're 23-9 away, and that is the prime number pairing that has come through. Okay. Rockies and Mets. My man Chris likes the Rockies to sweep the Mets and put them at 35 losses. Rockies equals 35. That would put them at 35 wins. It's entirely possible if the Rockies win today, they get their 16th win on the 53 date, 53 the 16th prime. So there is a riddle for the Rockies. There's another part of me, though, that worries that the Rockies could drop the next two games, and the Mets could keep them at 33 wins in New York. New York's 33. I do think the riddle's a little bit better for the Rockies today. I think whoever wins today probably wins tomorrow because it's either going 35 or 33. I might sit today's game out and count on that tomorrow. Whoever wins today wins tomorrow. That would make good sense to me. So, yeah, I didn't see. There's no awesome clue with the date numerology. The best one is the Rockies getting the 16th away win on the 53 date. So, for my man who likes the Rockies to sweep, don't let me take you off it. I do think, again, they do have a little bit better riddle today. I worry about them dropping 2 and staying at 33 in New York. So, Dodgers and Giants. I think the Giants are only going to lose one game in this series. If they would have lost yesterday, it would have made this. It would have made this a great call today, I think. But now things are tougher. So if the Giants are going to lose one of the next two, we have to pick right on which one they're going to lose. Actually, if you bet the Giants today and tomorrow, and they do win one or two, you're going to come out ahead because they pay out decent. The reason I think they'll lose one is because that'll put them at 37 losses. Los Angeles is 37. If the Giants lost today, they could pick up their 27th win on the 27 date tomorrow. But if the Giants win today, there's some reason to believe they could. Los Angeles Dodgers equals 73. And Hill could fall to 7-3 versus the Giants, while the guy with is that a Greek name? Samardzija, however you say it. He could get his 73rd win today versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, 73. Samardzija, maybe that's how you say it. Samardzija. Anyway, Los Angeles Dodgers, 73 most pure cipher would be a great team to get the 73rd win against. Wait a minute. Did I write something down wrong? He struggled against the Dodgers for his career. He is 1-4 versus the Dodgers. If the Giants lost 2 straight, which is something to consider, they could stay at 11 home wins through 31 games. It's possible, but again, haven't seen the consistency with that. But the Giants, here's what was big today. The Giants are 4-3 versus the Dodgers. So if they win, they become 5-3 on a 53 date. And they're 3-1 at home this year. So if they win, they become 4-1. LA's 41. So you'd have this very Los Angeles LA tribute in the record if the Giants won today. And Samardzija, it's the perfect opponent for him to get his 73rd win against. Also, the game's on Fox, which equals 18, like baseball. If the Dodgers lose, they stay on 18 away wins. The Giants stay on 18 home losses. Right now, I'm liking the Giants to, again, finish with 1 loss in the series. So Giants would be a good payout today. If they lose tomorrow, I'm going to like them tomorrow. If they lose today, they get 27 on the 27 date. I might be inclined to take the Giants 2 days in a row. Well, unless they win today, then I'd probably lay off tomorrow. But if they lost today, I'd probably bet them again tomorrow. So, all right, Cardinals and Cubs. The Cardinals are a favorite on the road, and when we looked a little bit ago, you can check this closer to game time. When we looked a little bit ago, the money was heavy on the Cubs because people are thinking, what? I'm taking the Cubs today. They pay out better, and they're the home team against the Cardinals who aren't that good. So to me, that line just feels like a betting trap. Lester's not a bad pitcher. It doesn't seem that the Cardinals should be the favorite. Doesn't really make any sense other than debate people. So I worry about this game because of the line. Flaherty with a win for the Cardinals would be 5-3 on the 53 day. Lester's 4-4 on the season. If he won, he'd be 5-4. That's a big baseball number. Caller.
I just want to point something out regarding the Cubs line. So it started with them even, then it went to them both at -105. But that was the money line. That's where you're seeing the trap in essence. But the thing that was the indicator for me was the fact that the run line for the Cubs, which wasn't posted late last night, which is a pattern they've done for a while, when it was posted this morning, the Cubs were heavy favorites for -1.5 runs. So it made no sense for them to be underdogs in the money line, but then heavy favorites on the run line to win by 2.
Yeah, that is goofy.
Yeah. So I definitely think Lester gets it today. There's just too many in terms of the overlaps, and especially if the Rays win today, it fits in with the way it was done for the sign-in with Lester and the whole 54 months since he was signed by the Cubs on 12/9/2014.
54 months since the signing, the big baseball number. So yeah, that is very interesting.
And he goes to 5-4.
I could see that. It could definitely happen. But don't discount 45. That's a big number too. Major League's 45, Cardinals is 45, Cubs is 45, Wrigley's 45. They hadn't been in the World Series since 45, the year they ended up winning it. So
yeah, I mean it can kind of go either way. I think the stronger play is definitely the Diamondbacks today, but if the Diamondbacks win, then you can kind of risk $10 on the Cubs, and the Cubs are still a decent payout today.
Sure, there you go. Lester, another thing for him is he could get his 8th win versus the Cardinals in his 19th start. 19 is the 8th prime. But like I said, there was a riddle like that with Patrick Corbin this week, and it didn't come through. So
this is just one of the ones where if the date numerology works out, Cubs lose. If it doesn't work out, if this is
no. The date numerology could be there for the Cubs too, because they can become 5-3 versus the Cardinals this year.
Oh yeah, true, head to head. I was thinking of the pitcher for the Cardinals.
Right. Flaherty, yep.
Well, it's one of those tough ones, but I just see with when you have a guy who is a marquee player, especially someone who's got 3 World Series rings, it's really hard to not find the connection when it's a debut anniversary. And there's so many overlaps going on. Because he was like 22 years old in 155 days, and it's like 155 months and 30 days or something like that works out in terms of the relationship with either like the sign-in or his debut, something like that. So there's like all kinds of these overlaps going with Lester. It can be sort of abstract, and maybe I'm kind of like going into a circle just trying to confirm what I'm leaning towards, but
sure. No, I know what you're doing, man. You're doing all this experimentation and trying to find some awesome things that lead to gold. So you're looking at, okay, John Lester signed with the Cubs this day. Today's 54 weeks. Is it months later? Weeks?
Yeah, let's see. So he debuted June 10th. What was that? 2006 to today. That's 47 days, and it's 155 months, 30 days from his debut to today. And he was 22 years, 155 days old on his debut.
He made his debut April 5th, 2015 with the Cubbies against St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm talking about his debut in the MLB. That was 2006. That's what I'm saying is the 155 months.
Okay, he did make his debut with the Cubs April 5th, 2015 against the Cardinals.
Did he win that
one? Here, I'll look up the box score. April 5th, 2015 box score. Cubs, Cardinals. Let's see what happened here. Okay. Cardinals won that 3-0. Let me see what kind of game Lester had. Wainwright was on the mound that day. And Lester went 4.1 innings with 3 earned runs. So what's that? 13 outs. 13 outs. Okay.
Interesting that it was a score 3-0 because today the way I was leaning was that it would potentially be Lester winning 3-0.
Okay. Yeah, and that it's funny that date's April 5th because it can be written 4-5 or 5-4. Ah.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's almost like they're trying to screw with people because a lot of people focus on these rivalry games between the Cubs and Cardinals.
Sure. It's a span of 218 weeks since he made that debut with the Cubs.
Yeah, 50 months, 3 days. There's a 53 connection there.
50 months and 4 days span.
Oh, but was that with the end date included? I think.
If you don't count the span, 50 months and 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a 53 for you, and that overlaps with Lester in the Gematria for him.
Yeah. Personally, I still think this game's a roll of the dice too, man, because there's just riddles on both sides. So,
but it would be a good heuristic if it does work out. Then it won't be something that would apply to every single game. But for people who are like star players, who are truly marquee individuals, where they really want to push the storylines for them in their career overall, looking at debut games and the rituals, it's today the thing that just stood out was that 47 days or 4,474 days, and the fact that the Cubs are on 1,174 losses. And so the 47, like 11, it just stood out too much to me.
Sure, I hear you, man. Well, stick with your guns.
Oh, and then just as like kind of an organic matrix thing about it, when I did randomly put something down on it last night, them and the Diamondbacks, it was at 12-12. So there's like the 33 kind of thing.
Huh.
So it's just like kind of like a random thing. I wasn't even paying attention to the time and just did it randomly, but who knows? I just think that today, number 1, Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I like the Diamondbacks again today, so I'm with you.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Bye.
Today's Lester's 153rd day of his age, the 17th triangular. I only see 117 on the board. Cardinals come in with 17 away losses, but the measuring from the birthdays, well, last week the Sunday night game was 85 days from David Price's birthday. Boston's 85, Red Sox 85. They won that game 8-5. Sometimes it's helpful. If you see somebody win 15-3 today, we're going to have to start measuring from the birthdays of all the star pitchers in the regular season. It was just burning me earlier this year measuring from the birthdays, so I just stuck with more of the win-loss records and the date numerology because that's what's been good. A's and Rangers, I just, the more I looked at this, the more I decided I didn't like this doubleheader today. And somebody called in earlier, they liked the Padres today. And this series there hasn't been great riddles in this series. Well, yesterday I felt was a pretty decent riddle for the Nationals, actually. The Padres could have become 32-32 on the 32 date, and they could have become 3-2 against the Nationals had they lost, but they didn't. They won. So just looking at what would make sense to me, if the Padres lost the next two and got to 33-33, that would make some sense to me because Nationals is 33 and against San Diego Padres is 137, the 33rd prime. But after last night's riddle didn't come through, that just, to me, made too much sense. A little bit gun shy there. Again, if Scherzer does win, he gets his 163rd win, the 38th prime. San Diego's 38. So it would be a fitting team for the 163rd win for Scherzer. I think if the Padres do drop it today, they probably do drop it tomorrow because, again, you have two teams that have a 33 connection. So how fitting to be 33-33 by the end of the series. Let me double check. Padres is 36. I just want to make sure it doesn't have a 45 connection as well. I should be using the exceptions real quick. Yeah, they don't have the 45 connection. If Scherzer lost today, he would be 3-6 on the year versus the Padres. So, and the Nationals would pick up their 36th loss as well. So that's another way you could look at this. If the Nationals pick up one more, If they split the next two, they'd exit the series on 36 losses. Padres is 36, so it's not out of the question. And I do believe the Mariners and Angels are going to split the next two games so that the Angels can be 5-8 versus the Mariners. That 58's really played with the Angels this year. Angels is 58. As for who wins today, Kikuchi with the win would be 4-3. He's the guy who lost his father at the beginning of the season by the numbers. He's Japanese, just like how the Mariners season began with the games in Japan, with the tribute with Ichiro. So that does stand out for him. If he did win, he'd be 4-3. If Peters won, he'd be 4-4. Seattle's 44. That's the Angels pitcher. If the Angels did not win today, they'd stay at 16 home wins on the 53 date. If the Mariners lost today, they would go in tomorrow still on 27 wins on the 27 date. So if he gamed today, but I really do see the split coming. So whoever wins today, I'd bet against them tomorrow. That 5-8 is just making too much sense. Actually, I'll revisit that tomorrow. I'm just seeing that if the Angels won 2 in a row, they also could be 6-7, kind of like the 19th prime. Seattle's 19. This isn't in T-Mobile Park, but T-Mobile Park, the new name of the Mariners Stadium, is also 67. So those Mariners, they've been real ball breakers. So yeah, today's not a thrilling day. See if the Rays can pull it out against the Red Sox. If they do, I got confidence in them to win both games of the doubleheader. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, this Chris.
What's up, man?
That Nets game, man. I'm thinking Sergio might get that win today, man, because the last two games, Marty didn't come good with that game, and they lost those two games by close.
Who do you like today in the Mets?
I like the Nets.
You like the Mets?
I like Sergio today.
You like the Mets to win today?
No, the Nets.
Oh, the Nationals, Scherzer. Oh, okay, Nationals. Sorry, man, I'm out here on the West Coast. I got to get used to that East Coast accent. Okay, yeah.
Because yesterday they had a chance to win, man, but at the end they lost. It was just weird yesterday.
Well, it was the same score 2 days in a row. So yeah, something's up with that.
I'm thinking the Nets gonna get this one today because Sergio on the mound.
They've lost 4-5 2 days in a row. If Scherzer wins today, he's 4-5. So maybe that's a clue.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Cubs game. I mean, the riddle is for the Cubs, but remember yesterday we thought the Cardinals was gonna win. Maybe that's a sign that the Cardinals might win today. That's what I'm thinking.
I remember the Cardinals had a good riddle 2 days ago. Did we like them yesterday too?
Yeah, we liked them yesterday too.
Okay.
I think hold on. I think it was me and another caller liked the Cardinals, but it was a couple other people that liked the Cubs though, because they was the favorite.
I thought that game yesterday was a little bit dicey. I know 2 days ago I liked the Cardinals. So
yeah, because I think the Cardinals might. They got the narrative that John Lester on the mound because Cole Hamels was pitching yesterday, and they won. So John Lester on the mound today, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals win today.
The line looks like a trap to me. I'm imagining by game time the money's going to be a lot more on the Cubs because of that line, but the Cardinals, they got a riddle. So yeah, I won't be shocked if the Cardinals win. I personally wouldn't bet that game, but you might be right there. So
that Diamondbacks is that was the only good pick that came through yesterday.
Yesterday was not good. Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was terrible.
Yeah, that's right. So
I mean, the Orioles is at 19 wins though. I mean, the Astros been winning the extra innings the last 2 games, man. So I don't know about that game.
Sure.
That game is too tricky.
Right.
I think the Twins gonna sweep the Tigers in the series.
It would make a lot of sense. It would follow the date numerology if they did.
Because Tigers got this picture on the mound today. His name is Farm. Never heard of.
Buck Farmer.
Yeah, Buck Farmer. That's what they got on the mound today.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going with the Twins though.
They must have just put him in. I think I have a question mark for their pitcher. I don't think that name was up here earlier. Let me see.
No, they had him undecided. That's why.
Yeah, so that's new information.
Who they wanted to decide it on. So that's going to be the starting pitcher for today.
Okay, the only thing I see for this guy now that they put him in here is if he won, he'd be 4-4. That's the Detroit number. Buck Farmer, I never heard of him before either. Where'd he come from? He has stats though.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
Buck Farmer stats. All right, let me see. I don't know if he's a new pitcher for this team. Let me see. I'm pulling it up. Well, he's played for Detroit his whole career. He's been there since 2014. Looks like he's been a middle reliever. Or no, he's had some starts. Never mind. He's had some starts. He's been a middle reliever, but he started in 2017. He had 11 starts that year. So, he's 11-19 for his career. So today's his 31st start. If he didn't win, he'd stay at 11 wins through 31 games. 31's the 11th prime. Twins also equals 31. Okay.
It does that Twins line is 230, man. That's a huge. They are huge favorites.
Right. Yeah, they're huge favorites. The only thing I could say for the Tigers today is if they won, they'd get their 11th win in their 31st home game. 31's the 11th prime, but you also have that same prime number relationship going against this Farmer guy because he can stay at 11 wins through 31. Or actually that's not – well, if he had decisions, he could stay at 11 wins in 31 decisions if he got a decision today. But I do see that he could become 4-4. That's a Detroit number. So, yeah, Twins probably will sweep the series, though. I agree with your first thought. It'll follow the date numerology perfectly if he does. They do.
And remember the Mets. I thought the Mets was going to win yesterday, man. But I'm thinking that if the Rockies won today, I mean they have a chance to sweep the series. But I'm thinking if the Mets didn't win yesterday, I'm thinking they're going to win today. Well, if they don't win today, they might win tomorrow. Because Syndergaard on the mound.
Well, we looked ahead at Syndergaard tomorrow. Tomorrow, if he lost, he'd pick up his 27th career loss on a 27-date numerology. So that's one concern for him tomorrow.
That's the only thing I be thinking about these pitches, man. Because Mets be having their good pitches on the mound. They take them out the game, and then the fucking Mets lose.
Right.
For some reason.
Right.
I don't think the Dodgers losing 2 straight in a row, man. I just don't see it, man. That was some fluke stuff yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was just...
I don't see San Francisco beating them again today. I just don't see it.
I think they have a chance to win 2 out of 3 in this series because that would keep them at 37 losses, and Los Angeles is 37. I was saying you might want to bet San Francisco today and tomorrow because if one of them hits, you'll be up because they're going to be a heavy underdog both games. And if they win today, you could just lay off tomorrow.
Yeah, I might don't need bet on it now because those were the 2 shockers yesterday. The Dodgers and the Angels losing. I don't know how the Mariners won yesterday, but that's
crazy. Yeah, that team does not make sense. So, all right, man. But yeah, it's not a great day. I like the Diamondbacks again. I think they're one of the safer plays today. See if I eat my words tomorrow, but.
Yeah, that's the only safe pick I see today is the Diamondbacks that they came through yesterday.
So, yeah, I think they can sweep that series. So, all right, man, I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna start the horse racing because I was supposed to do that yesterday, but my day got screwed up. So I want to get that going before the race starts because we still got about 4 hours till race time.
Oh, and you say you like Triple G in that fight tonight, right?
Is that fight tonight? Because Triple G.
Yeah, that fight tonight against Steve Rose.
Yeah, and he's fighting at Madison Square Garden, right?
Yeah, he's fighting at Madison Square Garden. Yep.
Let me just pull this up again. What I was thinking about that. I'm pretty sure he's going for his 39th career win.
They got him 3,033 as the favorite. So yeah, massive favorite.
Oh well, so it's not even worth betting on. I'd be shocked if he didn't win because, yeah, he's going for 39. MSG's 39. New York's 39. I forget it. I think one of his names is 39 too. But, yeah, Golovkin's 39 as well. So I'm pretty sure he's getting 39 tonight.
Yeah. I think he's gonna win. I think there's a layup that he's gonna win this fight tonight. I don't know. It might be a knockout though, but I don't know what round though.
If he got a knockout today, he'd get his 35th KO. Today has 53 to the reflection. The 10th round would make a lot of sense actually tonight, just because when you write out 10, it equals 39. That'd be symbolic, getting the win in the 10th round, the 39th win. I could see that. So I might take a shot on that 10th round for the fight to end.
Yeah. All right, that's all I wanted, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, welcome. Okay. It's nice to say thank you to me as bad as I've been this week. I appreciate your guys' manners, but yeah. I mean, it hasn't been terrible this week, but man, it's been a really disappointing week for me, at least from my perspective. So okay, Golovkin in 39. I'll be shocked that doesn't happen. It sounds like he's the favorite of the century, though. If only last week I knew about those 11-1 odds. I'll never forget that. So yeah, let's. I'm gonna end this live stream, and I'm gonna start the next live stream. If you guys want to take a little break, we'll start it right at noon Pacific. That's 3 Eastern. That should give us about 3.5 hours until the race. And you should have time to get in your bets, and we can use up that whole 3.5 hours if we need it, because there's some good riddles on the board. The favorite horses, the 2 top favorites that hardly pay anything, they both have decent narratives, especially Tacitus. I don't even know if it's worth betting on them because, you know, it's not there. But the value pick horses, there's a horse that's 8-1 Master Fencer. It has what I call the trifecta. Intrepid Heart's very interesting, and so is the other horse that has the same trainer as Intrepid Heart, Spinoff. That's the only horse born on the 39th day of the year, and New York's 39 and Belmont Stakes is 39. So, you know, if you put down a little money on those, the 8-1 horse, the 10-1 horse, the 15-1 horse, there's no guarantee they're going to win. We'll talk about this more. There's more to look at. By the way, War of Will can be the 19th, become the 19th horse all time to win the Belmont Stakes and the Preakness here in 2019. So anyway, we'll start the live stream. I'm just throwing out some thoughts before we get there. But we'll start that very soon. So half hour, just take a quick break. So if you guys want to eat some food, drink, go outside, do whatever you smoke, I don't know what you do. We'll start in 30 minutes, and I'm planning to keep the live stream going as long as you guys are interested and got questions and observations, so we can go right up until the time of the race. So we'll be back here in 30 minutes. And just for the review, I'm not even going to do a review video today just because I'm not – well, okay, maybe I will sneak one out real quick. Yeah, I guess I'll put up the review video real quick, but the only game that I'm really digging on today is the Diamondbacks. Hold on, we got one more call here. Caller?
Hey, just wanted to point out, Rangers up 1-0. Looks like a live bet opportunity. It's going to seem to, if it continues the way it is, it will play with the Palumbo 62-26 orbital up that I was mentioning earlier.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So just want to point that out. Potential opportunity for people.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
Thanks. It looks like they're going to go up 2-0. You shouldn't score that runner from second with no outs, but we'll see. Okay. I'll do the review video real quick. We'll be back at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern for the horse racing, for those of you who are interested. So I'll see you there, Truth Seeker.